Thanks for choosing the Weekend Review. I'm Kenesha Dees. As always, in the next half hour, we're taking you on a whirlwind tour of North Alabama at its best. Stories of progress and people in our community working to make life better for everyone. But we're going to start in Decatur with a story that has concerned many. Steve Perkins was shot and killed by Decatur police late last month when they responded to a dispute between Perkins and a tow truck operator outside his home. Since then, there has been a daily call for justice from Perkins' family, neighbors, and community members. Last weekend, supporters held a motorcycle rally that began in Birmingham and stopped outside the steps of Decatur City Hall and the police department. Here's a look.
More protests continue in Decatur in support of Steve Perkins, who was shot and killed by Decatur police in late September. Our Ken McCoy was at this afternoon's protest and has the story.
Guys, I'm here at Ingalls Harbor here in Decatur, where as you can see behind me, bikers from across the state of Alabama have gathered for a special ride, all in the name of justice.
It's just, just letting people continue to know that we're not going anywhere until our answers of justice for Steve are here.
A community still looking for answers.
We're being obedient right now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not making no threats, but it's going to have to happen this week. Somebody needs to be arrested this week.
Preceded by a bike ride, many gathered outside of Decatur City Hall to honor Steve Perkins, a man who was fatally shot in September. The movement, Justice for Steve Perkins, began just 2 short days after the tragedy.
So the movement got started after the tragedy happened with Steve when he passed away on Friday morning on September 29th. I think it's so important for people to realize that there's so many different things that you can do other than walking down the road holding a sign demanding justice, just to show their support that we all want the same thing, and that's in getting justice for Steve.
Recent developments in the case prompted Decatur PD to apologize for misinformation at the beginning of the investigation. Misinformation, Morgan County NAACP president says just doesn't add up.
3 things won't lie: the Bible, the mirror, or the film. So that's what happened. And then he tried to recant it. The police, they got a motto. When they come to work, they say everybody go home after the shift. Where everybody went home except the man was at home.
The outpouring of support has been overwhelming.
It's been fantastic. People are continuing to be energized. It has gave, a perspective that we're not going anywhere. Just because we had a revival, and we were happy out there singing with that event and then with the vigil and other things like that.
And that overwhelming support is felt greatly by the Perkins family.
The unity, the peace, just the way that y'all are showing up in numbers, it is doing my heart well. Not just mine, my entire family.
As you can imagine, this has been a fluid situation with something changing almost daily. Here's what happened since our story on Sunday. Monday was the deadline imposed by Perkins' family and protesters demanding Aaliyah release the Decatur police body camera footage. That evening, we were told by a family spokesperson that the family's lawyers would be provided the footage. Then on Tuesday came and went, but the video was never provided. It was later explained that certain legal issues prevented the release of the footage, leading to protesters saying they would simply continue their daily vigil, demanding not only the release of the body cam footage, but termination of the officers involved in justice for Steve Perkins. That continued into Thursday when groups converged in what they describe as a, quote, legal disruption on traffic atop the Steamboat Bill Hudson Memorial Bridge, which we carried to you live during our 5:30 newscast. Fox 54 continues providing coverage of this story. Look for updates on air and online at fox54.com. Well, a professional sports event, which reportedly had an economic impact of more than $1.3 million, will not return to Huntsville next year. Today, event operations group Night Edie announced that the Hometown Lenders Championship is off the Corn Ferry Tour, which is the developmental tour of the PGA. In 2021 and 2022, the tournament was called the Huntsville Championship, and locally owned Hometown Lenders inked a 5-year title sponsorship agreement that was supposed to extend through 2027.
Given the state of Hometown Lenders and their inability to fulfill their obligation as the title sponsor, the tour has decided to ultimately remove the tournament from the 2024 schedule.
Wow. Well, when Fox 54 called Hometown Lenders for comment, the call was bounced back with an automatic recording that said, "This number is not currently set up to receive calls." Ditto Landing is set to undergo a $10 million revitalization. Today, Madison County Commissioners announced the multi-million-dollar project will transform the State Docks building into a new entertainment and mixed-use venue option. City and county leaders also hope Ditto Landing will be a new wedding destination and place for major events like family reunions and retreats. Well, updated compliance issues are what some of the older buildings face here in the city as growth continues. Madison County Courthouse is one of those buildings in the process of looking into making those changes. Our Ken McCoy has more.
This building is an older building. It has some structural concerns.
The current Madison County Courthouse was built in 1967. You can imagine after 56 years, updates are necessary.
There's some things like ADM compliant restrictions that it has, water issues, those kind of things. So the building is, aging and it needs some work.
But upgrading something of this magnitude is not all that simple.
As we begin to look at this building and look at all of the departments, if you will, that we have in the building, such as we have the 23rd Judicial Circuit Court in this building. Now we're at the point to saying, okay, what needs are in this building as far as service needs, what kind of space do we need, is there wasted space, and the structure and the credibility of the structure of the buildings.
The Madison County Commission is trying to come up with sure ways to make the changes necessary, but they say it's a process.
There's some discussions about how are we going to approach this. Are we going to tear this building down? Are we going to build a new courthouse at this location? Would there be an opportunity to move off-site somewhere?
And part of that process is discussing design.
They're doing some interviews with contractors, looking at structural design. We're looking at cost effectiveness. All of these things are going on right now, and that's really where we are.
And the city of Huntsville is also willing to lend a hand.
I will say the city of Huntsville, they've been very cooperative. They've sat down and discussed this. The mayor and I have talked about properties around the area that we could utilize, and they're willing to try to help us in that way.
But no matter what, public input will be needed.
What we will do as we move into these phases and we start looking at the actual numbers and cost, what we will do is bring the public in and have them part of this process so we can have input from them.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Concerned Oakwoodites, a Facebook group with more than 1,000 members, spoke about concerns regarding the school's lack of transparency. In a letter sent out, the group says issues shared by faculty, staff, students, parents, and even board members address topics ranging from faculty retention to ethical practices.
I was in a conversation with a board member, and he said to me that Oakwood was $15 million in debt. A former board member was floating around this $43 million figure. When I asked current board members that I'm in contact with about the $43 million figure, they said, no, that's not true. Well, when I started looking at the audit, I actually found the $43 million figure that this person was referring to, which was stunning to me. And I do know that it requires some sort of an explanation.
Well, shortly after today's press conference, a meeting was held with the board, and we'll bring you updates as they come. Calhoun Community College hit another milestone as they broke ground on the expansion of a cutting-edge advanced technology center. Our Ken McCoy has the details.
We've bucked the national trend as far as our enrollment.
With Calhoun being the top institution for workforce development in Alabama, enrollment has progressed.
We have seen an uptick in enrollment. I believe right this minute we're at about 8,856.
To keep up with that demand, expansion is necessary.
We kind of consider ourselves to be one of the workforce training leaders in the region, and our buildings that we're doing welding, aerospace, our manual machining, and a lot of our workforce training programs are very old, and so it's time to upgrade them.
The new 57,200 square foot building broke ground today and will be an addition to the Advanced Technology Center.
This new expansion is going to have a brand new state-of-the-art welding lab that will have our traditional welding programs. It'll have our robotics welding program. It's also going to have our aerospace technician program.
Hodges says projects like this will help Calhoun keep building the future workforce.
We have a slogan that says, your community, your college, your future. And that's what we do, is we connect students to training. Business and industry are partnering with us every day to help to satisfy their workforce issues.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Now, Fox 54 Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
Cosmetology is the calling for one Tennessee Valley teacher, his passion translating into the classroom to help mold future beauticians. We get to meet this week's Fox 54's top teacher from Fayetteville High School, Brian Gully. Welcome to Mr. Gully's
These were big on Instagram.
cosmetology class.
We've got completely everything that you would have in an operating salon.
The room renovated over the summer with all new equipment.
The program has really grown over the years.
Gully has taught this program at Fayetteville High School for 13 years. His class started off with just 10 students in a class.
So these are a nice handy little tool to use.
To now nearly 100 students with 7 classes a day.
It's about relationships, and so I know each student and I know how that I can interact with that student. That's very important, because if you don't have that relationship with that particular student, then you lose them.
Gully's love for cosmetology started within the family.
My sister went to school for it and I wanted to do it then. So it was just the passion of people, relationships, and things like that that drew me to it over the years.
And Gully's still operating his own salon, sharing the tricks of the trade with his students, and they love him.
It's his energy. I like learning how to do hair and nails. And I just like the bond like that Mr. Gully has with all of us.
You actually learn about something that you can actually use in the real world. Because there's a lot of people that like to get their hair and their nails done, their makeup and all of that.
Gully's principal believes the students will be well prepared for the real world.
Once they leave us, he also keeps up with them and makes sure that they have whatever they need as they go further in their cosmetology career.
I love my job, I love what I do, I love the people that I work with, and I love the support that we get from our system.
Get Fox 54 Plus for Roku and Fire TV. Watch local newscasts live or on your schedule, plus exclusive specials like Weekend Review, a recap of the week's top stories. Fox 54 Plus, live, local, and always on.
Welcome to season 22 of Hell's Kitchen. The American dream.
The American dream is freedom.
Overcoming adversity.
Work hard. Sacrifice.
Always believe in the power of your dreams.
Breaking news. It's Hell's Kitchen. What planet are you on? This is absolutely insane. That's raw. Come on, guys. I do not get it. Hold on, there's more. Stop rushing. What's happening? Look at me in the eyes. Embarrassing. How's this possible? Don't look so shocked.
Hell's Kitchen. All new Thursdays and watch anytime on Hulu.
B2 EDI, first down Friday night.
It's everything high school football every Friday night.
The highlights, the bands, and oh yes, the fans.
Fox 54 Sports has the Tennessee Valley covered.
We're bringing you the latest scores, all the big plays, touchdowns, and much, much more.
We are your home team for high school football.
Watch B2 EDI first down Friday night on Fox 54. Sponsored by Whataburger, your community health mart pharmacy, and Regenesis.
Hundreds of music enthusiasts, retro fanatics, and thrifters gathering today at the Orion for its annual Records and Retro Market. Hundreds of vendors from all across the Southeast sold everything from vinyls to old stereo equipment to video games and vintage clothes. This event was presented by the beloved local record store, Vertical House Records, for the second year in a row.
All right, well, here in Huntsville, big plans are in store for new development. It's in the area surrounding Butler Terrace in downtown Huntsville, now known as Mill Creek. Plans to revitalize the area with mixed income housing is moving forward. Our Ken McCoy has the details.
We need to make sure that our housing stock, our housing inventory is attainable for all income levels within our communities.
Talks of affordable housing are now moving forward in the planning stages.
So back in about 3.5 years ago, we submitted an application to HUD for a planning grant, and the planning grant was to identify a distressed public housing asset within a community and how we could redevelop and transform the public housing site with a mixed use, mixed income model, but also facilitate growth and economic development for the entire area.
The Mill Creek Transformation Plan proposes 750 residential units, a mix of market rate, housing authority, workforce, and senior housing.
The project area is what is currently Butler Terrace and Johnson Towers. So think of Governor's Drive to Clinton Avenue, bounded by east on Seminole, so that general vicinity there, which is across from Low Mill, the north, not too far from Campus 805. So the architecture will look like any other new development in town along Governor's Drive, on downtown, along Mid-City.
In the first of 3 public sessions, the community got a chance to voice their opinions on the project.
So we expect for people to come that's not in the community to come and understand, one, what the residents are desiring, what is required by HUD as it relates to the CNI grant. So we're open to any conversations. We want to be able to provide our community with facts.
This is an opportunity for Huntsville to do something, pretty remarkable, to have a transformational project of 25 plus acres near downtown Huntsville. A policeman, a fireman, a nurse, Huntsville Hospital, teachers, will be able to move into this development.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Cases of infant-related sleep deaths unfortunately occur in the state of Alabama, but they don't have to. Our Ken McCoy tells us the Alabama Department of Public Health is urging parents to clear the crib this SIDS Awareness Month.
I like to tell families, essentially the baby should be the only cute thing in that sleeping area.
Sleep-related infant deaths are still a major problem in Alabama. In 2021, 443 babies lost their lives. 101 were related to sudden unexpected infant deaths, including complications from sudden infant death syndrome.
The easiest way to think of it is to kind of combine all of these terms into something we call sleep-related deaths, because most of these unexplained deaths in infants, regardless of the cause, are usually in the sleep environment.
October is SIDS Awareness Month, and the Alabama Department of Public Health is urging parents to be aware by understanding the risk factors.
So we know that risk factors for SIDS may include things like exposure to nicotine after delivery. Babies that are preterm have higher rates of SIDS. Breastfeeding can reduce the risk of SIDS. Making sure babies have all of their checkups after their birth is also important in reducing SIDS.
And there are a few rules parents should follow.
I always tell families to have the baby sleeping on their back. So we stress the initiative of back to sleep. So all infants should be sleeping on their back in their own sleeping areas that is specifically for the baby, and that the entire sleeping area is empty of stuffed animals, thick blankets. Co-sleeping is not recommended.
And there's a simple way to remember. Learn the ABCs.
So the ABCs are easy to remember. The baby should be alone, A. The baby should always be on their back, B. And the baby should be in a crib, C.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Manufacturing company Navistar Huntsville celebrating the expansion of its powertrain production plant, more than 100,000 square feet of it. Our Jasmine Bird at the ribbon cutting. Here's a look.
Super exciting what we're doing here today.
Navistar Huntsville Powertrain Team Operations Director Brandon Tucker says this has been a long time in the making.
We've been working on this new integrated powertrain project for over 5 years, probably closer to 7 years.
And Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle believes the Navistar plant has always been a promising addition for the city.
Gone from 120 employees to 240 employees today. It's a great day for the city of Huntsville.
Tucker adds that they take the money they've been given by the city very seriously.
We try to be good stewards of that, and the employees here, they see what we're investing, and they know this is a long-term commitment, so they're very excited about what's going on.
Tucker also believes this expansion serves a real tangible need at the powertrain operations.
We went from a single assembly line, pretty much a single engine assembly line, to 2 major assembly lines, an engine line and a transmission line, as well as 3 major machining lines. So the expansion was necessary for us to be able to house all of this in the building. So we had to have it, we needed it, but it's a big difference in the production that we had originally here. We needed the space for all the new lines.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
A brand new college basketball season is on the horizon, and the Fox 54 sports team has you covered with several college basketball media days. We'll start off with the A-Sun in the state of Tennessee.
The A-Sun basketball tip-off event is the ceremonial start to the sport in the A-Sun Conference. We heard from players, coaches, and league officials alike who are all excited about what's set to be another competitive season in the league. For North Alabama men's basketball, they're looking to improve off of last year's first ever postseason appearance in the Division I era by returning a core group of veterans and a promising underclassmen.
Jakari Lane enters his sophomore season with high expectations. The Huntsville native earned preseason all-conference honors after winning freshman and 6th man of the year a season ago. He says exceeding expectations will come from his work ethic.
From the season that I had last season, I know it's going to be a target on my back. People are going to come after me and question why have I won that award, but I'm just going to go out there and do my best. I know the work that I put in and day out, just being in the gym 24/7, being a gym rat, I just trust my confidence in my work ethic.
Will Susie is part of an upperclassman core that's been through a lot. He was on the UNA team that made it to the conference tournament finals his freshman year. Getting back there and winning it is a legitimate, attainable goal.
Truthfully, this is the most excited I've been about a team. I truly think this team is the deepest team we've ever had. Being able to take certain lessons and experiences all the way from my freshman year to now, I think all that experience and that maturity is going to lend to a very successful year this year.
Head coach Tony Pujol thinks is realistic too. The pack of lines he brought to Media Day were his second, third, and fourth leading scorers from last year's team.
I'm very pleased where our team is right now as far as their development. One thing I can tell you about this league is every year you got to be prepared. I think you're seeing from top to bottom anybody can get you, so this is going to be a challenging year.
The men begin their season November 6th at home against NAIA school Blue Mountain Christian.
Now over to Nick Kuzma for more on the Lions women's side.
Last year, Missy Tiber's North Alabama women's basketball team went 15-15 overall with a 10-8 mark in conference and a first-round loss in the A-Sun tournament. Now this year's team returns 7 from that squad, and it's clear that the coach's main areas that she's focusing on this offseason have been rebounding and guard play.
I really believe that we're going to go as our point guards take us this year, and we happen to have a senior and we happen to have a freshman, and they're both playing extremely well right now. We're great defensively, but we always have trouble rebounding the ball because of our size. So I think we have to adjust that with toughness, and I really like how tough our kids have been playing.
In terms of losses, there were some big ones for the Lions. Grad student Hina Suzuki used the last of her eligibility, while Jade Moore is no longer with the program and Skylar Gill transferred to Kansas. They were UNA's top 3 scorers. Meanwhile, there are 6 newcomers, 3 freshmen and 3 from the transfer portal, and it sounds like they and the entire team experienced a summer full of game competition, as well as an interesting approach to improve rebounding.
A lot of things you do in drills you might not do like in a real game, or like you're not able to like practice it in like a real play setting, but we were able to do that all summer. So I think that that'll be big, like transitioning to real games.
So we have a G squad where we get we're so thankful for them. We have a bunch of guys that come in and practice against us, and some of our male coaches as well. And we just do rebounding drills against them, whether it's moving around, standing still, things like that. Just being able to focus on the rebounding and really using the physicality and boxing them out and then going to get the ball.
The UNA women open the regular season at home Friday, November 6th versus Tennessee Southern. From the A-Sun basketball tip-off in Clarksville, Tennessee, I'm Nick Kuzma, Fox 54 Sports.
Thanks, guys. Here's a quick preseason breakdown. The coaches selected UNA to finish 7th, and the media selected them to finish 8th. And we're talking about the women right here. Season opener November 6th against Tennessee Southern. As for the men, the coaches and the media predicting Tony Pujols' team to finish 7th overall. Season opener November 6th against Blue Mountain Christian.
That will wrap up the week in review for the week ending October 19th. A quick programming note, though, we will be taking the rest of October off. Our next episode will be Friday, November 3rd, here on Fox 54 Plus, available on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV devices, as well as our YouTube page. Until then, enjoy the rest of your month. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time.